resolution. So everything's going to look a little distorted. Like there's a picture of Ken and me talking to Ethel and my belly is not as big as it appears on this picture in the t-shirt. So when you see that, no, oh my God, that's distortion, because the distortion adds a good 10, 15 pounds. What I'd like to start doing after today, those of you at home, get a cup of coffee, and I've already gotten some texts. People are saying it looks really good. Then it may look a little different to you in here, but for streaming, this new lighting is far superior, and we're just testing these out. But we'll, if these work, we're going to purchase them, and they look really good. But what I want to start doing from now on is just the video will start everything instead of me coming and, you know, it'll look a lot more professional, all that sort of thing. So I'm glad you had a good All Hallows Eve and that you survived it. And I know that parking is a little bit of a challenge today because there's some film festival going on here. And I was going to warn you about it, but I knew if I warned you about it, you'd stay home. So I just did not tell you. I intentionally withheld information from you. Yes, I did, because I know you. So if you had to walk a little bit further, it's only for today. Thanks for saying, oh my God, it was totally worth it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, y'all are on such a good frequency this morning. I love this attitude y'all have. It's wonderful. Look around and see if there's somebody you haven't met. Say hello to them, and please remain standing. I'm going to show you this, and then we'll officially get started. All right, this. Go ahead. It's good. This is the new one. That's not what I actually look like. Good morning, buenos dias. Welcome to Metron. I'm glad you found us, and glad you got that extra hour of sleep last night. That's why you look so beautiful and refreshed. We're very excited to have somebody that we met. It's been actually nearly a year ago. We've been trying to work out her schedule with our schedule, and finally found a month that it worked for both of us. And we loved her instantly last year, and we've got her for the whole month, and November has 5 Sundays, so she is so you get an extra a little extra Chelsea Shack. I'll let her tell you if she wants you to be seated or whatever she wants. Would you please welcome Chelsea Shack? Chelsea!
Thank you so much. I want you to sit if you feel like sitting. If you feel like standing, stand up. But I'm sure you guys want to relax, right? Cool. Well, I hope you guys had a spooky Halloween. Oh, I did that voice like all night. It was not good for my vocal cords, but you know what? It was really fun. So my first song today is a song by Alabama Shakes. It's called Hold On. And Brittany Howard, she wrote it, and she's kind of in this midst of like figuring out, what am I going to do with my life? Who am I? And like, just bless my soul. Like, please, like, help me figure it out. But it's one of my favorite songs. Here we go. Bless my heart, bless my soul. Didn't think I'd make it to 22 years old. Well, there must be somebody up above. Say, come on, Brittany, you got to get back on.
Yeah.
You got to hold on. you got to hold on.
Yeah.
So, bless my heart, bless yours too. I don't know where I'm gonna go, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Well, there must be somebody up above. Say, come on, Brittany.
Yeah.
You got to get back on. You got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to hold on. Yeah, you got to wait. Ooh, I don't wanna wait. Ooh, I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. So bless my heart, bless my mind. I got so much to do, I ain't got much time. So there must be somebody up above. Say, come on, girl, you got to get back on. You got to, you want to try to sing with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to hold on. Yeah, you got to hold on. Oh, hold on. Ooh, you got to hold on. Oh, you got to hold on. Yeah, you got to hold on. Yeah, you got to hold on.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it.
You can probably tell why that's one of my favorite songs. It's just very uplifting. I had a song in mind I was gonna play, but there's actually one I feel like fits better, and it's called "Let You Go." It's a song I wrote when I was in a breakup, and it's just like, all right, you know what? I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to like find my own inner peace and everything. So this is called "Let You Go." I'm finally ready to let you go. I won't put you first. I'll take care of myself, and I'll be the friend you think I can be. I'll tell you what, I can be anything, anything. Ooh. Well, the people moving are moving me. Parts of my habit to me. Won't give up on love, won't give in to sorrow. Planning for love and a better tomorrow. Planning for love and a better tomorrow. Gonna let you go. Let you go. Let you go. Let you go. Oh. I threw my heart into wishing well. I have to make describe it to me. Fatima can't wait to meet you, wait to me, but the let you go. I will learn to love again, let you go. I will learn to love again, let you go. Let you go. I'll tell you what, I can be anything, anything.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Do I get one more song?
I would love for you to do one. Do whatever you plan, but I'm not going to ask you to do "It's a Good Day" by Peggy Lee. But you know, I really love that song. That's all I'm saying. You might not have done it in a long time.
It is a good day. So
and I don't want to just throw. I don't want to throw something at
it's
you.
a good day, people. It's a good day. And it's a good day. I'm singing a song.
Yeah.
It's a good day. I'm moving along. It's a good day. How could anything be wrong? It's a good day from morning to night.
Yeah.
It's a good day. For shining your shoes. And it's a good day. For losing the blues. Everything's okay. And I'm to lose. It's a good day from morning to night. I said to the sun, good morning sign. Rise and shine today. You know you got to keep going if you're gonna make a show. And you got the right way, baby, 'cause it's a good day. Sorry, for paying your bills, and it's a good day. For carrying your bills, so take a deep breath and throw away the pills. It's a good day from morning to night. Morning sun, I say good morning sun. Rise and shine today. You know you got to keep going if you're gonna make a show. And you got the right way, baby, 'cause it's a good day. For paying your bills, and it's a good day. For carrying your bills, so take a deep breath and throw away the pills, 'cause it's a good day from morning to night. 'Cause it's a good day from morning to night. 'Cause it's a good day from morning until night.
Yeah. All right.
Thank y'all very much.
In answer to your question, yeah.
Appreciate it, y'all.
You said, do I
Happy-
get one more? And the answer is yes. What were you planning on singing before I
So
hijacked your gig?
I'm not gonna tell you because I have to save it now. I have to save it now.
Well, we love it if you want to do one more.
Really?
Yeah, heck yeah.
For real? For
We're like
real?
really into it. We're not kidding.
Okay. Let me think about this for a second. Well, okay, I was gonna play "Can't Buy Me Love" by the Beatles.
Well, then play
Is that cool?
Can't Buy Me Love by the Beatles. Anything by the Beatles is
Right.
welcome here.
It's in the same key. Is that cool?
I thought you got the memo. I want them in a different key every song.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna do the key of C. That's cool. Okay.
It is cool.
The Beatles rock. Here we go.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll buy you a dime and bring my friend if it makes you feel alright. I'll get you anything, my friend, if it makes makes you feel alright. 'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. I give you all I got to give if you say you love me too. I ain't got that much to give, but a guy I'll give to you. 'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. Can't buy me love, love. Everybody tells me so. You can't buy me love, love, love. No, 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 no. Say you got no time and rings and I'll be satisfied. Say you want another kind of things that money just can't buy. 'Cause I don't care so much for money. Money can't buy me. Everybody tells me so. You can buy me love, love, love. No, 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 no. Yeah. Say you need no diamond rings, and I'll be satisfied.
Well,
Say you want no kind of things that money just can't buy. 'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love.
yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Chelsea Shag. Excellent. 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 Give it up. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. You had a heart for, yes, I'll show you the pictures. It's good. Thanks. Y'all may be seated. Sometime before the month's over, as we get maybe like the last Sunday that you're here, a couple of those Christmas songs you did last year were really good. Like, I love your rendition of Christmas Time Is Here. Just watched It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, the other night, and got me all in the mood. Okay. Once again, Chelsea Shag, tell you appreciate. Excellent. I had announced that I was going to be doing the music for this month, and I got a really sweet text from Leslie. Joe and Leslie travel a lot with their son's band, so they're not here. They're very much supportive, but they're not always able to be here. So she texted me yesterday. She said, "I'm coming to hear you sing tomorrow." So I just said, okay. I was withholding lots of information yesterday. I didn't tell you about the parking, didn't tell you about the lights, didn't tell you about anything. Here's the deal. I love to sing. And, you know, last year at the Christmas thing we did at Virginia Highland Church, everybody's like, "Oh, God, why don't you sing more?" Well, if I had a great accompanist like Greg Kennard and a piano, and I would sing all the time. It's the coming up with it that's extremely challenging. But I did note, what's that? All right. Well, I did notice, she said, "You're going to sing today," but she was really supportive of what Chelsea was doing. So I don't know. Do you have a favorite? Oh, wow. That is old school. Let me think about it while I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do that. Because you know I can't tell you no. It's really cool. So I was able to get Chelsea this month. Next month, I wanted Marshall to come back one more time before the year's over. So Marshall Ruffin will be here. But in January, this is probably going to be a surprise to people, but y'all remember Cindy Stanfield from Church of the Now? I always loved her music. And so she just had knee replacement surgery, so she couldn't do it right now. But I wrote her. I said, "Do you still sing or what?" You know, because I've kind of lost contact with her. And she's, yeah. So I have her scheduled for January. And so that's going to be really very, very cool. And oh, Lordy. Let me just think about it. Because I would. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Let all that is within me bless his holy name. For he has done great things. He has done great things. He has done great things. Bless his holy name. And I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul. Rejoice, take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Morning sun, light of creation, grassy fields, a velvet floor, silver clouds, a shimmering curtain. He's designed a perfect world, and I'm amazed at his talents. I stand in awe of one so great. And now my soul begins to sing out to the source from which it came. Bless the Lord who reigns in beauty. Bless the Lord who reigns with wisdom and with power. Bless the Lord who reigns my life with so much love he can make a perfect heart. And it's the anointing that makes the difference. Once you've known it, you'll never be the same. You can't live without it. Once it's rested on you, it will show you how to walk in Jesus' name. The anointing will show you how to walk in Jesus' name. All the songs I know. It's for you. Now listen. Sit. Now listen. Y'all don't be getting any big ideas and sending me requests. I did that for Leslie. If you enjoyed it, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I might do some around Christmas, but thank you. Thank you very much. Y'all, what's the what? All right. That was so funny. Chandra, we checked in. We had Chattanooga Friday night. Checked into the room, turned on the TV, and Owen was on. And Miss V was the first thing that came up, and it was somehow it was an episode I'd missed when she was trying to seduce Richard when he's in the stay in the house. Oh my God, that was funny. Of course, I had to put you on the prayer chain after that and say, y'all need to pray for Sister Corelli. Very funny. Alyssa, congratulations on your award that you just won at your school. Excellent. And praise the Lord that you and Victor are alive and with us. They had a pretty scary thing happen to them on the way to school the other day, but they are here, and you're all here. Excuse me. Well, I'm enjoying today. I know the lights take a little getting used to, but I'm hearing. Thank you. How did you know? Very good, very good. On the 22nd, which will be 3 weeks from today, we're going to do like we did last year. It's not really Thanksgiving food, but it's just very easy to walk next door to Opry Diem, and we're going to rent out the lounge in there and just have a little time. I'm not sure yet. We're still looking at. We may just go ahead and have them do some platters, and instead of you. Pay towards that or whatever. We'll figure it out this week. We had a lot to figure out this. Believe it or not, there's actually a lot of figuring out of even for an operation this streamlined. There's still an ongoing staff meeting all the time, but it's all good. And make sure you have December 16th on your calendar for our Christmas. I'm wanting to do a Christmas party instead of a Christmas sit-down dinner this year. And I'm even thinking it's going to be like a party, like with a DJ and dancing and all that kind of stuff. And, y'all can get all blinged out. And we've never done one quite like that before. And so I'm thinking that's what we're going to do. We're meeting, we're going to do a walkthrough with them and the caterer this coming Friday. So that's good. It's going to be at Maison Rouge. If you've never been to New Orleans, it's like a little trip to New Orleans, but it's just around the corner from here. It's at Paris on Ponce, across from the Ponce City Market. We're going to have valet parking for you. It's going to be it's just going to be excellent. Uptown, baby. Our outreach for this month is Rehoboth Fellowship. Pastor Troy Sanders is somebody, I didn't realize we went back this far. He was the valedictorian at Beulah Heights Bible College, and he knew me from when I used to go there and speak. After he came out, Beulah Heights didn't want him to be their valedictorian anymore. Anyway, that's him. He's a great guy. He works with TFAM. Anytime I've done things with them, he's the one that's coordinated all my trips or whatever. Anyway, he is planting a church here. 2 weeks from today will be the installment service. So our outreach money this month is going to help him plant this church. It's a really, really cool church, and definitely behind what they're doing there. So that's where your giving's going. I was going to show those of you that came in late. I was going to show you the new video intro. Is that a big hassle to play it again? This is not the correct resolution, and Michelle, you just have to close your eyes when you see this. She wants to see the proper resolution, but because I'm much skinnier than I look in this Metron T-shirt, it's a complete distortion. But this is the one that we're going to be using for this foreseeable future. very modern. See, adds at least 15 pounds. Anyway, that's it. Jonah did he did that. He did the music for it and everything. So I'm very happy with it. It's a little different what we did before, but it's time. I love what we did. Okay. I love what we're going to talk about this month. So let's get ourselves in sync, in line with it. That word is already vibrating above us. As we've said so many times from the concordant literal version, it's not the Spirit was vibrating, it's the Spirit is present tense. The Spirit is vibrating over the submerged chaos. There is a word up above us, and we are ascending to it. John hears a voice in the Revelation that says, "Come up higher." And so whether you call it going from glory to glory or going to the next dimension or just moving up to a higher, raising your vibrational frequency, we are moving up to a higher consciousness. And the good news is, as we ascend the mountain of the Lord, we don't have to lose our traditions. Even just then with me singing a few worship songs, I love to do that. It's funny, every time Bishop Pearson comes into town, we usually will go over either to my folks' house or to my aunt and uncle's house, and we stand around the piano and we sing a lot of hymns, and you've seen the videos that we posted those. And invariably somebody will say, "I can't believe y'all sing those songs," or that y'all even, and I'm like, of course we sing those songs. Why wouldn't we? We love those songs. They may not mean to us what they meant at a certain time, but Jesus said the kingdom of God is like someone who brings treasure out of his home, both old and new. So I not only don't want to lose my heritage, I don't want to think I wasted my time in church all those years. I want to take what I learned from that, what I learned from the Pentecostals, and it was funny. Chelsea left out, but when she was doing the scat singing a minute ago, I thought Sammy was going to get run around the room because it sounds a lot like speaking in tongues. I don't think she would know what that is. But I don't want to lose that. I love that I have a Pentecostal heritage. I love that the Pentecostals were out of the box and they believed in, they believed in the miraculous, and they believed in signs and wonders. I'm glad that I came from that tradition. Were there extremes in it? Absolutely. They got into legalism and all kind of craziness, but I love that. And then the Word of Faith movement. I love everything that I learned in that flow. I love learn how to speak to the mountain and the authority of the believer. And some of those men who were a big part of my upbringing, like Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, Frederick Price. I love that those men were influenced by E.W. Kenyon, who was influenced by Ralph Waldo Emerson. See, to me, that's not a negative. When somebody says E.W. Kenyon was a mystic, I'm like, I know, right? That's not a negative. So I'm glad that I learned about the words of my mouth and all of that stuff. I'm glad, the things I learned from the kingdom message, the changing of us, instead of us trying to escape the world and flying away, like we decided we could make the world a better place. I don't want to lose any of that. Labels don't bother me. If you call me New Age or New Thought or whatever, I'm like, they're just words. It's semantics. And so I love that we can have all of it. To me, that is the ministry of reconciliation, is that all of it can be reconciled together. There is a phrase that you hear, not so much in traditional Christianity as you hear it in more of the Eastern religions, and it's the word self-discovery. Um, one thing that I would take issue with the traditional Christian church is there was not a lot of emphasis on the internal world other than trying to be sinless. We were always had this idea of trying to please God, trying to please God. And even in modern churches that have modern worship, when I listen to the lyrics, there's still the idea that he's the God that can't be appeased. You still can't get it right. You're still nothing without him. And I don't believe in a God that needs to hear us say that. I want my children to respect and love me, but I don't want them to say they're nothing without me. That's not, if they were to say they couldn't function without me or they're nothing without me, I would think, well, I haven't done my job in raising them well, because the idea of raising them is that they should have individualized, and that I put into them everything that I could do, but they're living their own lives. And that to me is God saying, let us make people in our image and let them have dominion. The idea of self-discovery, you're not going to believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to turn this fan off. That's a first. You've never heard me say I'm going to turn the fan off, because it's usually never cool enough in here, but I think never say never. On November 1st, 2015, he actually said, turn the fan off. Because everybody here that helps me knows the answer to the question, is it cool enough in here, is never yes. Anyway, some of you have been praying that I would finally get cold too. So bring a jacket or a blanket or sleeping bag or something. Anyway, I want to talk about the idea of self-discovery today. I'm going to show you 7 things, but let me start with this quote. If you can get past this quote, you're going to enjoy this month. If you need to get up and leave, this may not be the teaching for you. Or I would say just hang on until you can get your head around it. This is by this person, but I love this quote. It says, courage doesn't happen when you have all the answers. It happens when you are ready to face the questions you have been avoiding your whole life. Y'all okay? Because that right there kind of is going to show you where we're going. Now, this is for big boys and girls. We're going to talk a lot about what's happening in the internal world. I believe in God. I don't believe God's making everything happen. I think God has empowered me. The ultimate act of sovereignty is the sovereign created sovereigns who in many ways are creating their own destiny. I love the idea of trusting in a higher power. I get it. But there are too many people who are wasting their lives thinking that God's got a plan and one of these days it's going to kick in. And it doesn't work that way. The Bible doesn't say God helps those who help themselves, but it might as well, because that really is the truth. And there are too many people who have put it in neutral, and they said, well, I know God's up to something. Well, yeah, but if that's your only reality, you're never going to take ownership of your life. And taking ownership of your life requires some real honesty with yourself. And not everybody's ready to do that. I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of churches that call themselves full gospel, charismatic, whatever. They are Satan worshiping churches, because when you listen to what they say, they exalt the devil in their words more than you'll hear the devil 10 times that you'll hear to the name of Jesus. Every statement is, the enemy knows if he can do this. The enemy knows this. There's this idea of the enemy, the enemy, the enemy. I mean, I can tell, and I don't mean to be critical, but I can tell when I'm with people who are in that flow, the word enemy or Satan or the devil, it's just so permeated in their consciousness. Well, the devil didn't want me to come today. The devil gave me a flat tire. And I think, wow, even if you believe in literal Satan, which I'm not going to argue with you if you do, but why does he have to be so powerful? If you're gonna be conventional in your interpretation of the scripture, then at least say, resist the devil and he'll flee from you. If you're gonna have a real devil, then at least have a defeated one. But Amen. And the devil, and a lot of people don't realize this, but he's become a luxury item for people that don't want to become introspective. It's like I can smoke cigarettes for 50 years and then say the devil gave me cancer, and it puts me off the hook. And please understand, there's nothing in me that responds to blame or wants to give blame. So if you hear the things I'm going to say this month as the pointing of the finger, you're not hearing me with insight, because I don't respond to lecturing. I don't respond to, I just don't. I've been, the old gospel song that says, I've been buked, I've been scorned. Well, I have. I don't know if y'all remember Ray Boltz, the singer that used to do "Thank You for Giving to." A lot, really. Well, I talked to him this week. I can't believe we've never talked before now, but our lives are kind of have similar trajectories. He came out a few years ago, but he's very cordial with his ex-wife, and he and his partner stay with her and her husband, and he's got 4 grown kids and 9 grandchildren, and very happy in a relationship. But we were I was sending him my book this week, and we have a mutual friend. That's how we finally made contact. He lives. He and his partner live in Fort Lauderdale. But I was asking him, I said, do you still travel and sing? And he said, yeah. He said, I still do. He said, but I'm not on Facebook because I just can't deal with the hate mail anymore. And I said, it's amazing, isn't it? Like the people that just can't even mind their own business, And he wasn't complaining about it. He's just saying, no, he said, he takes care of that. And he said, I have a fan page, but I just, I wanted to go, really? Are there people that, I never heard of such a thing. But when you've been, whatever your background is, if you grew up under fundamentalism, legalism, hearing about hell and end of the world and missing the rapture and the Antichrist and all the stuff I grew up with, at a certain point you reach a saturation point, and you can't, even if you believe in all of it, you're like, I can't live in fear anymore. If today's the end of the world, then I'll try to carpe diem, I'll try to make it as good as possible, but I can't, that thing, that even when I used to watch Christian TV and the prophecy end time preachers, they all had this heaviness about them, and everything, was ominous. And I used to think, well, if you do believe it's the end of things, your scriptures say you should lift up your head and rejoice, your redemption's drawing nigh. This should make you happy, not this, this warning that I can't live in it. And if you say, well, you're just a Pollyanna, then fine, call me that. I just have already been there, done that. I am going to see the glass half full. You interpret that however you want. If you say I'm out of touch with reality, fine. That's your observer effect, but that's not my reality. I'm very in touch with the suffering of the world. I'm, even now, I don't technically call myself a pastor, but I am. I mean, I pastor all the time. Which, by the way, let me say, she may be streaming today. Sandra is back in town. She's had some good reports this week. It's not nearly as, I mean, stay in agreement. But I went out to see her Monday, and Tony was able to come in from Afghanistan, and her daughter-in-law was able to come in from Japan. So they're with her, and she's not out of the woods by any stretch, but she's definitely got some fight in her, and she's still funny and sarcastic. And I look for those things when I go visit somebody, like if they're, if I can still joke with them and they get the jokes, I'm like, oh, you're good. You're good. And what's that? Yeah. Yeah, Ms. Berry. So anyway, that was good. But I'm saying I'm aware that there are negative things going on. But I'm not going to live under that thing. I just can't do it. That thing that religion, at least the kind of religion I grew up with, is created. So this idea of, I'm going to show you these 2 scriptures. They're from the Psalms. And David had a very healthy self-esteem, but he also was very introspective, and he a lot of times would go inside, what's up with me, what's making me tick. Paul, very similar, Romans chapter 7, things I would do, I find myself not doing, but he goes on in chapter 8 of Romans, and he says, but there is therefore now no condemnation. In other words, he says, I'm trying to figure out what makes me tick, but it's still going to take me to a good place. So when I read these passages, I don't read them in the sense that I'm trying to figure out a way to please God. I'm coming from the consciousness that God is already pleased with me. To the point, I think he put me on the earth. He gave me a purpose. I haven't always walked in it, but I've stayed pretty close to it. If I've walked out of it for a minute, I haven't veered off too far, and I've stayed, pretty much in sync with what I believe I was born to do. And I think even the people that turned out badly in the world, I think it's just because they didn't understand their purpose. I think if somebody could have gotten to Adolf Hitler early in his life and turned some of his administrative strengths in a positive direction and had gotten him past anti-Semitism, which a lot of it came from his religious understanding. If you ever go to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., they show that Martin Luther, when he first did his protest against why we call ourselves Protestants, against the Catholic Church, the 95 theses that he nailed on the Wittenberg door, he believed that all the Jews were going to be saved, according to Christian definition of salvation. And when that didn't happen, he just flipped on that and believed that they should all be exterminated. And he was born in the same town that Hitler was born in several generations later. So when Jesus looked at the Pharisees and says, "You are of your father, the devil," hang on, I think religion is the devil. I mean, when you read John chapter 10, that's what Jesus says. He says, "All who came before me were thieves and robbers," plural. But the thief doesn't come but for to steal, kill, and destroy. I didn't come for that. I came that you might have abundant life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. I got tested a little bit in the Pope right before he left the United States, but generally he's moving the Catholic Church in a more proactive direction. I was all good with it until what's her name from Kentucky said they met, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. And then I found out they didn't really. She was standing in a receiving line. He didn't. It's not like he scheduled the meeting. Very different. Just because you shook somebody's hand, Rosalind Carter took a picture with John Wayne Gacy. That doesn't mean she was in favor of him killing people, burying them under his house. So just because you meet somebody doesn't. Don't read more into. Y'all still with me? You're like, what are you talking about? I know somebody's going, how did you get from David to Kim Davis? Y'all still with me? All right. So I don't want to dismiss these passages because I do believe God is already pleased with me. I think the instinct that David had, that so many of these people had, like find out what makes me tick, I think that is healthy, but not in the sense of if I don't get this right, I'm going to be punished. It's if I want to get this right so I can live a better life. It's like what I talked about last month, raising your vibrational frequency. And we talked about Galatians chapter 5. And he says, though we be in the Spirit, let's also walk in the Spirit. And he lists the works of the flesh. I don't think the works of the flesh are, you better not do that. There are certain things you do. God's not going to be mad at you for it, but they're going to take your vibrational frequency lower, and they're going to make you duller, and you're not going to walk in the light like you could. You're not going to be punished for it. You're just not going to live the optimum life. Like God's going to love me if I gossip. I'm still going to be righteous if I gossip, but it's going to bring me to a lower vibrational frequency, and it's going to make my life clumsier. I love that when you're walking in the light. You know what I mean? You're just in the zone. and it's like everywhere you go, like you just got there at the right time. And you got, I just love that, and I can tell when I'm in the zone, and it's usually when the vibration is high. So let me look. This is David in Psalm 19. This is out of The Voice, the translation of The Voice. He says, in King James, it says, who can understand his errors? This is what it says here. Who could possibly know all that he has done wrong? Now, let me tell you what I read into that. I have a very good memory. This week I was with my parents, and I was describing to them a house we lived in when I was really, really young. And my mom is just shocked. She says, I can't believe you can remember that. I said, I mean, I can go through my mind, and I remember things. I think kids shouldn't be remembering that early. And, you know, sometimes people say, you couldn't possibly remember that young. And I'll describe something to them. There's no other way I could have known it. And they're like, wow, so, and it's good. That's why I was able to memorize a lot of scripture and that kind of stuff. What can be, I don't want to call it a downside, but it's something that needs to be managed, is I can remember every negative thing anybody ever did or said to me. And it's not that I'm being petty or mean about it. It's just that my memory's so good. When somebody says, I don't even remember, I'm like, oh, really? Well, I could tell you verbatim what it was. You know, like, I'm not trying to hold it against you. I wish I could forget it. You know, when people say, you know, you haven't forgiven if you haven't forgotten, I'm like, well, then I guess I've never forgiven, because I'm not mad at the person anymore, but I didn't have a lobotomy. I mean, I can remember it. And would to God I could forget it. The only way I've ever been able to forget it is when it was in such massive amounts that, like, at a certain point, you just couldn't keep up with it. But generally, especially if it was somebody, you know, very key to you, you could remember. So David, in another place, he said, remember not the sins of my youth. Because I do have such a good memory, and I don't know what jogs it sometimes. Sometimes I have a thought of, like, some unimportant day in third grade. Like, why am I remembering that? There's nothing, I can't think of any neuropath that would have been triggered to make me think of that. But I just am totally thinking about Miss Shell Nutt in second grade saying a thing. And I just remember it. The downside to that is sometimes you can beat yourself up over things that you wish you had done differently. I don't just remember it against you. I remember it against me. And fortunately, other people don't have as good of memories, because I've tried to apologize to some people for things that happened a long time ago, and they don't even remember what I'm talking about. There's a statement my dad made to me when I was really young that was, in my memory, I would equate it with one of the most pivotal moments in my life when he said this to me, and he has no recollection of it. So when I told him about it, I said, Dad, I'm going to need you to just fake it and act like you remember this, because it was like a really big deal to me and has been for years. And I realized, well, mercifully, he doesn't seem to remember it all. I guess I'm going to have to forget it too. And I have, but I'm just saying, people have different takes on things. They have different, every sitcom that's been done, they've done an episode where every character has a different viewpoint of what happened in a situation. They've all done it. And it's always hysterically funny when you see how different people remembered a situation and they remembered it completely differently. Y'all have never watched sitcoms, you don't know what I'm talking about. So what I read in this, when David says, who could possibly remember all the wrong that he's done, he's basically saying, you know what, you're going to have to forgive yourself, because you couldn't possibly go through everything. I was taught from people who took scripture very literally that one day we're going to stand before God and give a specific account over everything we've ever done. And any of you that came from my background, did you ever get one of those chick tracts that says, this was your life? And it shows the naked guy standing in front of God, and God shows his whole life on a movie screen. Holy cow. When I read that when I was 8 or 9, scared the bejesus out of me, because I thought, dear God, not only is that going to be unbelievably embarrassing, this is going to take forever. Can you imagine? No wonder we need eternity in heaven. It's going to take, it'll be 3 billion years and we're just up to the C's on the alphabet, Carter, all right, let's begin, roll it. And you have to sit there and watch all of their nastiness. And, after a while, you'd be like, this isn't even interesting anymore. Can we come up with a program where you can maybe just like forgive the entire world? And maybe you could just like, wouldn't that just be effective time management? And we could just maybe like if we had, someone that became the firstborn among many brethren. And oh, you mean that's what Jesus already did? Oh, okay, got it. But the idea of having to sit there, he said, well, Matthew 12 says you give an account for every idle word. He's talking about you give an account for it here because of the way your life turns out, because of the way you talk. He's not talking about some big agent up in heaven saying, all right, on September 23rd at 11:03, you said a cuss word. Then you said it again at 11:05. I mean, can you imagine how long that would take? For some of you, it would take they'd be like, are they through with what's his name? Like, oh no, they've just gotten up to, he's just up in second grade right now. Like, oh God, we got to go through his entire life. Now, here's all the people you lusted after. Let's go. And like, oh my God, this is good. Y'all might go get something to eat. This is going to take a while. Here's every sexual fantasy you ever had. Like, this isn't even interesting anymore. Like, really? Oh my God, you liked him? Like, really? Wow. I don't know if I can talk to you for a couple of trillion years. It's just the idea of that, first of all, just makes God sound so petty and nitpicky. And you're like, God, was this the plan that you were going to create people and then just micromanage them until there's no possible way they could even live their lives? Really? Was that the plan? And a lot of people think that is the plan. Exactly. If you had a friend like that every time you saw them brought up every infraction, you'd be like, you know what? This is too hard. I can't. You just bring me down every time I talk to you. If you have anybody in your life longer than 2 weeks, you've already had to learn how to let some things go and to judge them by the big picture of their life and understand. I'm going to show you something. There's a quote here that you're going to love in a moment. But let me show you the rest of this. He said, who could possibly know all that he has done wrong? Forgive my hidden and unknown faults. In other words, all right, if there's something I don't know about, forgive me of it. But can I just tell you this? I don't walk around my house saying, Jesus, forgive me all the time. And I was kind of taught to do that. We were I was with somebody recently, and they wanted to pray over the food, which is fine. But the first thing they said is, forgive us of our sins and bless this food. And I thought, wow, sin consciousness is really a real thing with a lot of people. As I am your servant, protect me from my bent toward pride and keep sin from ruling my life. If you do this, I will be without blame, innocent of the great breach. And this is where the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, may the words that come out of my mouth and the musings of my heart meet with your gracious approval, O eternal my rock, O eternal my redeemer. I don't read that with legalism. I read that with David saying, all right, God, I know that you love me. Help me be the best that I can be. And yeah, let the words of my mouth, that's a valid prayer. But I don't want to pray that with the idea that God's going to be mad at me if the words of my mouth aren't pleasing in his sight. This just, again, if you think I've seared my conscience or whatever, then think whatever you want to think. I can't relate to the God that can't be pleased anymore. It's like I just have no space for it in my life. If that's who God is, we're all screwed anyway. And nobody's gonna be okay. Because my idea is if God is that meticulous over the way holiness was described to me from my background, then I think I've never met anybody holy then. There is none righteous, no, not one. God has to be better than that. Jesus said, if you being evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more? I mean, there are things that your kids do or say or whatever that might not be your plan for them, but they're not deal breakers for you, right? You're like, well, that's my kid, and that's who they are. Do I want the best they can be? Listen, you will set yourself free, especially with your grown kids, if you will just accept them for who they are and stop beating your head against the wall over what you don't like and understand that's who they are, and be there to help them out if you can. My kids know if there's something I don't approve of, I just don't like on it. My silence speaks volumes, but they are adults. And I'm like, well, you know what? If that's who you are, then I'm glad I have these awesome kids who may have taken their own path in life, but good, I taught them how to be individuals. So bring up a child in the way he or she should go. Not in the way the church told you, but in the way they should go. The Amplified Bible says, according to their individual gift or bent. Any of you that have more than one kid know that you didn't discipline them all the same way, because they're just different. They all came out different. And there's different ways you can say to this one, do this, and they'll do it. But this other one, that's who they are. And if you've been sitting around talking about them and you've said the same thing for several years, it's not getting any better. You just need to shut up and accept reality, do what you can to make it better, and then move on and enjoy your life. And, like with my kids, I pray over them and then I go on about my business. That was a word for somebody. All right, here's David in Psalm 139. This is out of the Message, verse 23 and 24. This is where search me, O God, and know my heart. We used to sing a song, search me, O God. And again, I don't think that's a negative idea. I think the idea of shining a light and saying, search me, I don't think that's a negative thing, because I'm not afraid to be searched. Like if I believe I have God's unconditional love and approval, then I'm like, yeah, search me. See if there's something that needs improvement. Okay, fine. And I can't promise you I'm going to be right on it, but I will be aware of it. But even if I never improve it, I'm still going to be okay with you. And that's what separates us from the idea. I don't know what kind of church you grew up in, but I used to hear those old people in the church. It was always in their testimony, y'all just pray that I make it in. I'm just trying to make it in. So there was this idea, I'm not even sure I'm going to make it. And I remember even as a kid, I'd look at some of those old, the people in the Pentecostal church that we considered holy. It was like the women without makeup and that kind of stuff. When they would say, y'all pray for me that I make it in, I think, well, my God, if you're iffy about it, there's no hope for me, because I got a big secret that y'all don't know nothing about. If I tell y'all this, y'all going to be sure I ain't going to make it. I mean, I'm just completely on the other side of that now. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to get to heaven. I'm from heaven. The day I was born, his will was done on earth as it is in heaven. When I was manifested into this dimension, the word became flesh and dwelt among us. And when I leave this body, I will return to wherever and whatever God is. But there's no if in my mind, I hope I make it. No, whatever it is, I will make it, to the point that I think even if you don't get everything straightened out with somebody this week, like for instance, this week was the 5th anniversary of Ken's mom's passing. And I posted a little picture of us standing at her grave a couple of years ago. And I was saying how much 5 years could change things. And we're in such different lives. And I said, I came out publicly about 2 weeks before she passed. And so he wasn't watching the news at that time. He had no idea who I was. He never saw any of that. He was taking care of a full-time Alzheimer's patient. And I said, look at where we are now. And, a lot of people were, giving their input about losing a loved one or whatever. And I just added to the post, I said, peace to all of you who have, I didn't even say lost loved ones, because I don't think you've lost them. I said, peace to those of you whose loved ones have gone to the other side. You will be reunited with them one day. And I do believe that, to the point that I think even if you didn't get everything fixed on this side, well, you'll have some time on the other side to get it fixed. It's not like it all has to be done in this dimension. There's some people that you loved here, but you're going to like them a whole lot better on the other side. You're like, oh my God, you're so. My friend, I don't know if he streams this, he won't be offended at this, but we went up and stayed with my friend Howie the other day, who I've known since he was 17, I was 18. And the last few years have been stressful for him, and he retired. It's the first time we've been with him since he retired. Oh my God, he's such a pleasure to be with. I said, I don't know if this is just because of retirement or whatever, but it's really working for you. I mean, I said 2 or 3 things that typically would have gotten a certain response, and he's, oh, I know what you mean. I was like, you know what I mean? Wow, retired. Really? It's working for you. And there, you think about, there's people that, oh, I love them, but my God, I'm not saying this about it, Howie, if you're watching, I'm not saying this about you, but if there's somebody in your family like, I love Mama, but dear Jesus, she drives me crazy. Well, wait till you get to the other side, and she'll get it then. She'll be like, oh, I know I was a handful on the other side, but we're all here now, and it's all good. Let's go get something to eat. Whatever, wherever that is. David says, investigate my life, O God. Find out everything about me. Cross-examine and test me. Get a clear picture of what I'm about. See for yourself whether I've done anything wrong. Then guide me on the road to eternal life. That doesn't feel legalistic to me. That, to me, is David saying, I know you love me, but check me out. See if there's anything. Sometimes you go for a checkup, and you're not necessarily sick. You just need to know, is there anything I need to pay attention to? And even if you get a negative report or something, doesn't mean you're about to die. It just means like, oh, doctor says I need to lose 10 pounds or whatever. All right, good. That's sometimes what seems to be a negative, like getting a pain somewhere, was a good thing because you found out you had an issue that you didn't know you had. All right, let me show you. I love these quotes. Look at this one. This is by Carl Jung. Any of you that took Psychology 101, but this is the best thing I ever read that he wrote. Look at this. The acceptance of oneself is the essence of the whole moral problem and the epitome of a whole outlook on life. That I feed the hungry, that I forgive an insult, that I love my enemy in the name of Christ, all these are undoubtedly great virtues. What I do unto the least of my brethren, that I do unto Christ. I mean, that's Christianity 101. But what if I should discover that the least among them all, the poorest of all the beggars, the most impudent of all the offenders, the very enemy himself, that these are within me, and that I myself stand in need of the alms of my own kindness? That I myself am the enemy who must be loved. What then? As a rule, the Christian's attitude is then reversed. There is no longer any question of love or long suffering. We say to the brother within us, Raka. That is, if you read King James, remember when Jesus in Matthew chapter 5, he says, anyone who says Raka to someone, you're in danger of going to Gehenna. And it's a word, it's actually very similar to the word faggot when you call somebody that. And he says, we say to the brother within us, Raka, and condemn and rage against ourselves. We hide it from the world. We refuse to admit ever having met this least among the lowly in ourselves. Let me tell you why this is important. In basic Christianity, we're taught feed the hungry, clothe the naked, forgive your enemy. I mean, that's anybody that just has a general working knowledge of the gospel, understand that's, love God with all of your heart, love your neighbors, you love yourself. What he is saying here is, what if you find out, what if you realize that the one who is in most need of your compassion is you? the one who most needs your forgiveness is you. The one who most needs the putting away of the finger, the accusing of yourself is you. Now, see, that wasn't really taught in Christianity, my experience with it. You know, we were taught love everybody else, but I'm wicked, I'm a sinner, I'm like I gotta love you unconditionally. I gotta forgive you 70 times 7, but I'm gonna walk out of this place and beat myself up over something that I did or said. Do you see how completely perverse that is? I mean, I should at least treat myself as well as I treat you. I'm going to bring this into my teaching next week, but I was reading something this week, and this really resonated with me. It was an article I was reading about irresistible people, like why you find some people so attractive. And most of it was, basic Dale Carnegie kind of stuff, like just basic stuff that if you've ever read self-help books, that's kind of pervasive in all of it. But the one that caught my eye was be aware of the platinum rule. Now, when I read that, I thought, platinum rule? I'm familiar with the golden rule, do unto others as you would do unto them, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What's the platinum rule? And this person said, this is nothing against the words of Jesus, or really that concept of the golden rule is in most Holy Writ, not just in the Bible. Doing unto others as you would have them do unto you still smacks a little bit of selfishness, because it's the assumption that they want to be treated the way you want to be treated. The platinum rule is do unto others as they would like to be done unto. And I thought, what? Because if I say, well, I'm going to treat you like I would want it to be treated, well, you might have a completely different perspective about things. Your version of what's a good way to be treated might not be mine at all. And I want to explore that idea, because I think that's what's still lacking in relationships. We're saying I'm doing so good, because I'm trying to treat them as I would want to be treated. Well, why don't you try to treat them the way they want to be treated? Because if it's important to them, it may not be important to you, and vice versa. There's some things that other people like that I think that wouldn't, like, to me, a great block of time, like if I've got free time during the day, I love to go to a bookstore when I'm not in a hurry. And I like to go one where there's a Starbucks in it, and I want to get my coffee like I like. And there's a lot of books. I don't necessarily want to buy them, but I'm interested in little bits and pieces of them. So I'll go through and get a stack of books, and I sit down, and I'm in no hurry, and I'm not trying to explain. And I'm not saying I live with a very patient person, and I have plenty of downtime. So don't think this can't hurry. And I think you would know the answer to that. But I also don't like to think I'm inconveniencing anyone. So when I've got my time, I like to just go through the index, and there's different things I want to read about. I want to know what they said about this, whatever. That's the way I like to read a book. I like to sort of absorb the general idea. I'm very bottom line, big picture, not necessarily cover to cover. The letter kills, the spirit gives life. Y'all with me? And if you're a voracious reader, I applaud you and I admire you. I just am not. People want to send me their books they wrote. I think, well, that's great. I don't really read books. I write books. And I wish I was a better reader, I guess. But I do like to absorb. I mean, I kind of wish there was a way you could just pick up the book and put it to your head with osmosis and go, I now absorb. But I love that. And then if I've got extra time, yeah, I might want to get the New York Times, and I might want to, if nobody's hurrying me, I might want to work on the crossword puzzle a little bit. That might not be your idea of a good day at all. I didn't ask you to go. So if you said to me, like, for instance, over the years, somebody back in the day bought me pilot's lessons, because they said, Kenneth Copeland and all those guys, they have their own plane, and I bought you lessons to learn how to fly a plane. And I said, well, I don't really enjoy flying commercial that much. I especially have never even I didn't say this to them, but I thought, in my wildest fantasies, it's never occurred to me to want to fly a plane, ever. My idea of a good flight is a first class seat with something nice to drink that's going to knock me out until it's over. And I don't really want to, I love flight. I just don't want to think about it. I don't want to think that we're, so, and this person, they said, they were offended and, left the church. And I said, well, I know, but it's not like I was saying, it's always been a goal of mine to have my own plane. It's never. Like if I won the lottery today, I would not think, oh, I got to get a plane. I am not Creflo Dollar. I'm not. There's nothing. Creflo Dollar has come to me. He has nothing in me. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing. And I'm not faulting him. If he wants a plane, fine. He told his church he wanted one. Apparently they got it. Fine. Not my idea. But this person, they were just shocked. At somebody else, they said, you've got to be a golfer. And they bought me lessons with a pro, bought me clubs. And I said, oh, okay, golf clubs. All right. And then they said, and we're going to probably need to spend a couple of days a week together golfing. I thought, I don't want to block 2 days out of my really. And I did it for a minute. And I was okay. I mean, I was as good as they were. I mean, I got it. I'm nothing against golf. If you're a golfer, don't turn on me. But I was like, I get it. I'm amazed anybody could get a hole in one. That's amazing to me. But I never asked for clubs. They got offended and they left and you never spoke to me again. And I think it's amazing how people have this idea of what you should. I don't know if people wanted to butch me up over the years. I don't know what it was, but I've had people take me horseback riding, water skiing, and every one of them I did. First time they took me water skiing, I got up. They told me how to do it. I did it. I skied around the lake. They said, is this awesome? I said, no, it's kind of like a lot of hassle to keep up with the skis and stuff, but I get it. That was great. They got mad at me, left the church. People have taken me out in the woods. I've slept in the woods. I've slept in a hammock in Mexico out in the jungle. I mean, I can do it. Just because I don't opt to do it doesn't mean I can't do it. Anything that anybody's thrown at me, even when I was taken hunting, first time, went out, shot a 300-pound boar. His head's in Jared's house over there in Cabbagetown right now. And that was it. That was my hunting story. I can do it. I just don't want to do it. I want to go to the bookstore and sit and drink my coffee and do the crossword puzzle, and you leave me the hell alone is what I want. Because I'm not telling you what I think you should do. One time I was doing a crossword puzzle at my dad's house, and he looked, he said, I can't imagine pinning my brain down to try to do a crossword puzzle. I said, well, interestingly enough, I can't imagine getting up before day and climbing up into a deer stand and waiting for a deer to come by. But you love that. That's your idea of a happy morning. Not mine. Nothing against you. Go kill every deer that ever lived. I don't care. I just don't necessarily want to do it. What I'm saying is, wanting to do something good for someone and imposing your taste on them, your idea, really is not giving, it's control. Ladies, if an older woman gives you something to wear that you think this is something my mama would wear, she's giving you a message that you need to cover yourself up or dress your age or something. That's not a gift, that's a statement. If you look at it and go, this is like something my grandma would wear, like, exactly. She's trying to get you, or she doesn't want you to look good, or what. There's something to that. If it looks unlike anything you would like. My mom said that this was a very insightful statement of my mom. They have a little couple that lives next door to them that just had their second baby, and they've kind of befriended them, whatever. So mom was invited to their the baby shower, and it was like at a country club. And I said, "Well, how was it?" She says, "Well, I think the women were a little taken aback that I had on, like leggings and boots and leopard shoes, but I don't know how else to dress." And I thought, you know what? You're 77 years old. That's the way you want to dress. Go with God. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if that's what makes you happy, if 77 hadn't done anything else for you, you ought to say, look, this is the way I dress. Nobody said anything, and if mom's watching, I'm sure you looked great. But it's just funny how so many people want to impose, control, manipulate, micromanage you. So treating someone the way they would like to be treated, that's a whole other thing. And if that's something that you can lay your life down for somebody to even say, I don't fully get why you would like this. This wouldn't be my idea of something that I would want, but I understand that you want it, and I want you to be happy. That's a beautiful thing. Let me move on. This is Aristotle said this. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. I do believe that. I know the scripture says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but I do think there is something about if I don't know me, if I don't understand my own limitations, my own strengths, my own whatever, I'm not going to walk fully in wisdom. This is good. This is worth you getting in your car and driving up. Even if you had to park in the parking lot next door, this is worth you walking over here. The beginning of love is the will to let those we love be perfectly themselves, the resolution not to twist them to fit our own image. What? If in loving them we do not love what they are, but only their potential likeness to ourselves, then we do not love them. We only love the reflection of ourselves we find in them. And he drops the mic. Selah. And I think I got one more. This is by this person. If you begin to understand what you are without trying to change it, then what you are undergoes a transformation. That's it. Trying to change yourself doesn't change you. Recognizing that you're okay like you are opens you up for whatever change needs to come. I'm not saying we're all perfect. I'm not saying that you should just all, do whatever you want to do and say, this is who I am, you better deal with it. No, I don't. That's not love. That's not even being a good citizen. I do believe in the idea of the golden rule of love God with all of your heart, love your neighbors, you love yourself. I don't think the platinum rule cancels out the golden rule. Do you understand? I just think it's understanding it even that much more and being able to give it to yourself first. You have to love who you are like you are. You just have to. You have to recognize this is who I am. This is what I look like. I can change it to some degree, but there's only so much plastic surgery, so much whatever you could do. You are still going to look like you. So at some point, you can look like the best version of you, but you're still going to look like you. Like, have you seen some of these plastic surgery people that try to look like, there's one woman that tried to look like Barbie, and she's had all these surgeries. She doesn't look like Barbie. She looks like, I don't know. And it's really sad when you look, you think, oh, baby, no, you don't look like Barbie. You look like you need a hug or something, and even, of all the jokes people made about Michael Jackson, you think, it's not funny that somebody who had everything that he had couldn't be happy with who he was. And and I'm not even, this is not a sermon against plastic surgery. If there's something you can get done that fixes something that you just really don't like, and you do it, if it's that insatiable thing that you can never get it right, and people who get addicted to it, and if that's what's going on, then at some point you need to get introspective and listen to what I'm teaching this month, and embrace who you are. Do I look and feel better when my weight's down a little bit? Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when I'm down a few pounds and I can button a jacket that I might not button right now, but I'm still going to look good whether I lose it or not. I'm not waiting to say, just wait. No, I look good now. I might be a little healthier or look a little better without of it, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. And you do what you want to do. We were driving out. We went on this ghost tour last night around Chattanooga. It's interesting because I know a lot about Chattanooga history, but several things that have happened there that I had never heard about. So it was interesting. Some of Chattanooga's darker past, and the historian in me finds it very interesting. So we went through that, and the plan was we were going to go. There's a place that we like. It's called Aretha Frankenstein's, and it's just really, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's like a punk rock club that serves incredible breakfast. I know that sounds crazy, but it's very cool, very hip. It's cool. And I had already said, before we leave tomorrow night, we got to go by the Frankenstein's and get some late night breakfast. Well, when we were through with the thing, I said, why don't we just get on the road? And he said, we're going to Aretha Frankenstein's. And I was so glad we did. And we didn't even finish the pancakes because they're ridiculously human, like no human being could eat them. But it was fun. And I thought, it's Halloween night. I'm going to, I want to enjoy this. Now, I can't do it every night. If every night we drove up there, it'd be like, somebody needs to do an intervention. And whatever you want to do to improve yourself that is going to make you a better version of you, then yes, I applaud it. Do it. We all want that. But start with ground zero. I'm okay now. I will get better. Yeah. If it'll make me healthier, if it'll make me whatever. But it's got to start with that. Is that superficial? I don't think so. With all the people I counsel with, you'd be amazed at people that I still hear it sometimes, and it makes me catch myself before I do it. You'll think, oh, this person really looks good. And before you get a chance to tell them, they've already told you what they don't like about the way they look. And you think, why? Why do you have to tell me that? Or why do you have to say something negative about your ability to do something? One thing I love about people like Chelsea is not just her talent, it's her attitude. I love that attitude. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And it's cool. I love when people know who they are and they know what their strengths are and they play to their strengths and they do their thing. And they, like, if I have a guest in, they have to assume I must have thought they were good or I wouldn't have scheduled them. When I have Chandra sing, I want her to do her thing. I don't want her to, like I love when she does all her very unique Chandra stuff. I never think, oh my God, here she goes doing her thing. No, that's what I want her to do. That's why I put a microphone in her hand. Do your thing. I've never understood this among artists when somebody judges their art by somebody else's. Like, what? If you do something that's great, even if it's better than what I do, it doesn't mean I have to feel bad about what I do. I just think, well, that's what you do. And I happen to love what you do. And it doesn't have to be, it's all good and it's all straight. If I put that microphone in Paulette's hand, I know she'll open up her mouth and something will come out and it's going to be powerful. And she'll walk around and shake everybody's hand and do her Paulette thing. And you're like, there she goes. I never have thought, oh God, is she going around shaking everybody's freaking hand? No, it's cool. People, they love when she makes. I've never seen anybody sell a song like she does. She just puts it over. I love that. I never think, oh, I guess I should start shaking. If I got up and shook everybody's hands, you think he's trying to be like Paul at Washington. What's up with it? You got to do what's right for you. If I love Jesus, I follow Jesus. If I'm a follower, I'm a disciple. But the thing I love probably the most is Jesus was completely comfortable in his unique understanding of himself. And he didn't try to explain it that much. He didn't try to apologize when people didn't understand it. Jesus was not this, what we have developed is the idea of what a Christian is. Jesus wasn't anything like that. This mutated idea of when we say, oh, that's not a Christian thing to do. Jesus, I mean, he was passionate. He could get angry. He could sound self-centered. He could. Are you blaspheming? No, you gotta be pretty confident to say, I am the way, the truth, and life. No man comes to the Father but by me. What? Did he just say what I thought he said? Yeah, I love that he said that. I don't want to argue with over the theology of it. I love the spirit of it. It's like, I'm it. I'm the way. Like, ooh, no wonder. There had to be something about him that made people drop their nets and just start following him. I don't think those disciples would have followed him if he said, listen, my name's Jesus, and I know this is really hard to believe, but I think I'm like the Son of God. And I know this sounds crazy. Before you jump to conclusions, all right, I was at this wedding the other night. My mother said that they needed, yes, my mother. I went to the wedding with my mother, and she said, whatever he tells you to do, and I turn the water into wine. So I'm thinking I might can really do some cool stuff, but I need some people to, if you could get back to, can you imagine who was to follow that guy? Jesus walks up and says, follow me. And they're like, you got to know who you are to get that kind of reaction. I got so much to say about this, but I got 5 Sundays to say it. So let's put a comment there. Stand up. You're also wonderful and beautiful in your own way, and you're unique, perfect just like you are. And whatever your self-improvement program is, whether it's your physical life or your finances, whatever, then by all means, keep it up. Be everything that you can be, but know already that you're good now. Don't put it out there like, if I can just get that job, if I can just get that raise, if I can just lose that weight, if I can just get that relationship, if I can just buy that house, then I'll be okay. No, there's nothing wrong with having those things. Don't base your self-esteem on those things. Your self-esteem is you're awesome like you are. You really are. Tell the person next to you, you're awesome just like you are. We'll get a little bit more in some of the deeper aspects of this, but while you're standing, we're also getting a new closing but let's go ahead and run this one especially for the streamers. We had a lot of people stream last week. It was like 400 streamers. So close to. So that's good. Go ahead, run that. If you're making a check, make it to JESM.
Contributing at Metron is quick and easy.
Easy peasy.
Simply text the amount you'd like to contribute to 404-620-5044. Once you've sent the amount you'd like to give, you will receive a link. Clicking the link will take you to a one-time registration form. This will make the contribution process even easier in the future. Once you've filled out the information form, you will then see a successful registration and donation page. You can now give anytime by simply texting an amount to this number. To set up recurring contributions, log on to visionthenow.com and click Simple Give. We have more information on how to do this available for you in the back of the room. Thank you for your investment in Metron.
Yay! If you have some cash, pay it forward. Go take somebody to lunch. Go bless them. You're going to have a great day today. Good night's sleep tonight. Very successful week is ahead of you. Good things are coming. I give you permission to love yourself and to celebrate what's good about you and what needs to improve, that you have the patience to work on it, that you are manifesting as everything that you can be, and that you walk in full potential. I speak health to your body, not just to those of you here, but those of you streaming at home, and say that you wake up tomorrow and say, this is the day the Lord has empowered me to make. God bless you. Love you so much.
Are you?